Hello and welcome to the in-depth drawing customization session. I'm Fleur and I'm a product specialist at Bricsys. I will guide you through the optimizations we did, the new developments we did in drawing customization. So whenever we open BricsCAD, we now have a new panel. And this is the drawing customization panel. In drawing customizations, it's actually the purpose to change your workflow, to speed up the process of creating newly developed strategies. For example, a fire strategy. You always want to customize it company-wide in the same structure. And that's actually what we're here for. We're gonna dive deeper into how you create such a customizations and how you can change your section results into a customized drawing customization. So here I will I will first show you how the standard customization looks like. So without a customization actually. So if I go to my project browser, you will see that I have here a ground floor. If I display my view, you will see that here, this is the standard BricsCAD customization. You see every layer, every ply in a different style. You see them having a different hatch pattern and having a different color. Those are all customizable in templates, as we showed you on last year's conference. But today it's more to customize the style entirely. It's not to just customize how your hatch pattern of a certain material looks like. It's really to customize your symbols, to customize your entire wall to look like one solid wall again, to change how every element in your drawing is really customized. So whenever we first launch the panel, you would not see any strategies yet, but I here have already some examples. You can company-wide, you can share your customizations. They're stored in the support folder. And whenever you share those customizations, you can reuse them in on different computers. Everyone can generate your company standard customization. So I will make a fire strategy. I here have the final file, and whenever you add a customization, it's a property of the section plane, of the section result, so of the viewport. Whenever you highlight here the fire strategy final, you would see what it would look like when we finish with this demo. We're gonna work towards creating this customization where you see the outer walls with a certain fire rating having a solid green fill. You would see that the inner walls have a diamond rating of 2 hours. And we're gonna customize this from scratch now. Okay, so I will create the new customization now. How I will do this, you will see in a bit, but the most important thing is that you will see it's quite easy to use. It has been generated, it has been conceptualized from scratch, and we're certain that you will enjoy making your own customizations. So I will now click the the blue plus icon, and you will see that you can set your customization on a new name. So I will start creating this fire strategy from scratch. You can still copy certain customizations to start from the previous customization and duplicate it. You can still edit the name, and all the names will be automatically renamed so that you don't have to find names in any folder yourself, or you could delete your customization. And as I said, the loading in of different customizations happens at the moment through your support folder. So let me change back to my main building and show you the section we're looking at. So this is the section we're looking at, and as you can see, and as I already showed you, the previous, the standard generation is not really representing what I want. So here I would want to see my fire rating. So I would actually want to visualize the data, the BIM data that is put into my model. If I would open the properties, you would see that it has a certain fire rating, in this case the outer wall 3 hours. And you would see that any type of property you add here can be used inside your customizations, as I will show you in a bit. But let us start with entering the customization, and you will see that at the moment it's empty. So the first thing we need to do is we need to add a new entity customization. That's the first thing you will see. An entity customization is actually how a certain group of elements that you have filtered in a tree. So you filter your model, and you filter based on a BIM type. For example, the doors. You want to customize them in a certain way. The entity customization, which is this, which is the panel which I showed you before. The entity customization panel will actually contain the style of how a certain entity must be customized. And then if we go further with the styles, actually the entity customizations are made up of styles. These styles contain how a certain line really needs to be represented, for example. Not the entity in a whole, how it should be customized in a whole, but really how every line in the end needs to be, which style every line should have. And the last element, so you have 3 main elements, is the filter tree. Or the rules tree, actually. Here you will create your rules on how you filter your model, let's say. And whenever you filter your model, you can do it again on all the properties that you have put into your 3D model or into your BIM model. So let us start by creating a entity customization. So here I will add a style. I want to start by showing you how to define a style. So I click Style. I click again the same plus icon as we used before to generate a new customization. I now select it to create a new style. And then the first one can be, for example, red continuous. So in this case, I'm giving my style literally the name of how the representation should look like in the end, a red continuous line. If we enter this, you see that now the color is white. I can change it to an index color red. I can change my line type, but this time I still want continuous, so I leave it at this default. The line weight you can still access right away because, as you know, your standards are all made up out of lines. We are generating real DWG files, vectorized DWGs, which every entity is a vector. So that means that whenever you customize something, it's really on line level that you put the properties such as line weight and line type scale. In this case, we can leave it at the default, so I press OK, and we have a first style, which is red continuous. I will add 2 more in the same manner, this time blue and green. And then whenever I enter the blue one, I can do the same. I can choose a blue color and press OK. You could also copy a style, then you would get the name copy, and you would see that the properties are exactly the same. So you have here the red line, the red color, which I now want to change into green. So you can edit the name here to green continuous. Alright, so we now have our 3 customizations, our 3 styles actually, which is a blue color, a red color, and a green color. We start with these basic colors to show you really the difference of the end result. It's easy to grasp the concept of 3 main colors. And then we're gonna change to adding a new entity customization. So I can go back to my entity customizations, and here you see that nothing is customized yet for this entity, so or for a group of entities. So here I want to change the visual style of all walls with a certain fire rating. So walls fire rating 1 hour. And then you will see 2 warnings actually. Whenever you created an empty customization, you would see that you still haven't put in how the customization should be built up based on styles. And also you haven't used it in the rules tree yet. So that means that this customization will never be applied because there is no filtering which filters out a certain group of entities that use this customization. So I will first start by explaining you what can be customized. You will see 4 categories: section result customization, center customization, symbol customization, and here the ply customizations. I will explain you now as we go along, one by one. I will use them, but we will start with the section result customization. This is really gonna change how a sectioned element looks like on your model. I'm now gonna open an extra file so that you can see what is which certain type of section plane. So it will be way easier if I open a certain file for you so that you can see it more visually what means. So here you have a sectioned element. So I have a pyramid which has a section plane cutting right through. And just imagine that this is the one that you want to visualize. Then you will see that the background geometry here can be customized in whatever style you wish. So the background geometry is actually these green lines. So the geometry which is lying below your section plane and which you see in the background. Then the intersection boundary is actually the red lines which you see here on this drawing. It's what is cut by the section plane, but only the boundary. The intersection fill would be the fill, the hatch pattern that is created on top of where you have a fill of your element. Then the elevation fill is actually what you see here in this hex pattern. And in top it would look quite similar to this. You would see the hatch, the elevation hatch appear. So actually a little bit the hatch of what is in the background. Then the hidden lines, or those pink lines, you see here that I have a hole in my pyramid at the bottom. And whenever you don't show, or whenever you leave this at default, by default it will not be shown, these hidden lines, and it would look something like you have here. With the you would see the green lines and the red lines, but you would not see the pink lines whenever you don't customize them. So what you can do is, for example, if I turn into wireframe, if you would change your hidden lines to be visible and to have a certain color, you would see these pink lines coming up in your drawing as well. And then whenever you want to see the cutaway geometry is literally what is cut away by your section plane. And you would see it as you look on top of it. This is the image which you would see in your, if you customize your cutaway geometry. So these are all these, you can set them each separately. So that means that every part can be customized separately. You can show, or you can put them invisible and then they won't show. So here I will put the 1 hour fire rating all on a red color. So I put both the section fill, that's the last one which I said, the intersection boundary, so the boundary of everything which I cut through, and the background lines, I put them all at red continuous. The others are on default, and by default, my behavior that I set on my section plane, it will not show these lines anyway, so I don't have to touch this at the moment. But here you also see that there is an appearance override. We will come back to that in a bit, but actually it means that the fill of your hatch pattern for the intersection fill can be customized to whatever hatch pattern you would like on the fly in these customizations. And then whenever you inherit something for plies, it means that whenever your element has a composition attached to it, whenever your element has this composition, then it will have plies, and every ply separately will get the same style, so red continuous in this case. So it will have the same style here. Okay, so then I can return to my fire strategy, and you will see that we are missing one thing now. So we're missing the fact that it is not put in the rules yet. So I haven't filtered out anything from my geometry that you see here on my screen. I haven't filtered out anything to be a 1 hour rating or to get this entity customization. So I go back to the rules and I add a rule. So how do you need to look at this rules tree? The rules tree is actually a hierarchical build-up set of rules, and you can go as deep as you want, but the main idea is that you split larger groups of your model and you split them separately, or you filter them out separately so that you can easily customize the sub-elements later on. So what do I mean by that? I will show you. So first we can filter on the walls. Here I'm just giving a name. This is not a filter yet. This is just a name that I add to this first rule, which is walls. Then I can add a filter. And in this filter, I can now filter on the type is BIM, the BIM type actually. And I can say that this type needs to equal wall in this case. So I press OK. And then you will see that, you don't see it yet, but whenever you would apply this customization to your section result, you would see that the walls get filtered out, but they don't contain a customization yet. Now I want to filter still deeper. So my first filter was a quite general one. My first filter was a one that would go to all the walls, and it would filter out all the walls. But now I want to filter out only the walls with a 1 hour rating. So what do I do for this? I add a subrule, and this subrule will be 1 hour. So I add the title of this rule, and I can add a filter again. This time, instead of type, I want actually a property which is from the wall common, the IFC properties wall common. And it is this one, fire rating. So as you could see, you could also search on certain elements by typing in a certain value. It will search through the entire list of available properties. And then you can say that now this needs to be 1 hour. So the fire rating needs to be equal to 1 hour. This is the first step, filtering. And the second step is adding a entity customization to the lowest level of your filtering, let's say. So now I want to add an entity customization to the 1 hour filtering, which says you really have to customize it using the 1 hour entity customization. So what I do for this is I click the plus icon again, but this time I use entity customization. And here I see my entity customization, which we defined just a bit ago. And I can click it. And here you will see that now my first sub-rule is finished. You could also opt for not setting a certain entity customization, and then the default behavior will be taken for these elements. You can also opt for not setting a certain filter. For example, for your last filter, you would say that everything else needs to be classified or needs to be customized following a certain entity customization that can be invisible, for example. So whenever you're at the bottom of your filter tree, actually, or your sub-filters, or your sub-rules, I mean, then you can customize everything which does not fit into the previous rules will be customized like that. So it's really hierarchical. The first thing it encounters, if it's a wall, it will say, okay, I passed this type as wall, so I go into the sub-rules, and it looks, do I match with the 1 hour filter, fire rating is 1 hour? If yes, okay, then I will take this part and I will customize myself like a 1 hour rated wall. I could do the same for a 2 hour wall, but of course I don't have any entity customizations for that yet. So I can just duplicate it and edit the name to, no, not 2 hours. And whenever I go in, now you can say that the section result, maybe I don't want to see any section result now. I just only want to see my my background lines, which will show you the outline of my wall. As I said, with the pyramid, it's the ones in the background. So you can say these need to be red still, but the others, the boundary, and the fill, they need to be invisible. So then it won't be generated. But you will not see, as opposed to the previous one, which is totally red to say that it's 1 hour rated, you will not see which rating this has, because you would see it at the background lines in this case, that they are red. But it could mean anything. So what I want to do now is to add also a center customization. What is a center customization? It's the second thing on our list. For planar entities such as a wall, it will find the middle plane. And this plane will be able, it will be represented by a line onto your 2D drawing that cuts into it, let's say. But this line, it will be the center line of your wall. You can also have the center line for linear elements, such as a beam. But here we use it for a planar entity to really show the center of the wall. So in this case, I want my center to have a certain style. I want to see 2 diamonds, actually. So I want to see 2 diamonds that show you, okay, this wall is 2 hour fire rated. So how do I do that? Well, I add a new style, which has 2 diamonds line. Okay. Then the color, I want it to be red as well, because my boundary is red, or my background was red. So I want it to be red as well. And then my line type now, I want a special one. I want one that says, I want one that I created myself, actually. So what you can do is you can load in a lin file with your own styles. How you do that, you can find it on the internet. And then you will see that I have a certain batting, a certain line type, actually, which will have diamonds in the end. So here you will see fire 2 hours millimeter. That's the one which I will use. It's a different line type, a custom line type. And that is how you set your custom line type. And then whenever I change my, you can also change the line type scale. to better fit your actual result drawing. And then you would see that here now I have my 2 dimensions line. So whenever I go back to my entity customizations of the fire rated 2 hours, you will see that I can change the center customization now to say that my intersection boundary it is. You're cutting through this center plane of your wall, so it's the intersection boundary. Whenever you customize it to 2 dimensions line, now it will have a center customization of 2 dimensions line, and my section result, the fill will be invisible, so that I can clearly see on the center of my wall that I can clearly see a diamond line, a 2 dimension line. And then the last step, of course, is to go back to my filter tree and to add this customization here as a sub rule, this time 2 hours. And I can again give in the fire rating for the wall common class category, and this time 2 hours. And then I can now add my entity customization, which I just set. So you will see in the drop down that I now have a second entity customization, which is 2 hours. You would also see that you can reuse entity customization, so you can filter any how you like, and then you can reuse your entity customizations as you go along. So this is how you set this fire rating of 2 hours. Then the last thing which I will do is copy the 1 hour again, and now add the last one, which is 3 hours ratings, which is for the external walls. So I can give in 3 hours here. Instead of having a red color, I now want to have a green color for the 3 hour rated walls. So I go in. And here, wherever I have red color, I now change it to a green color. And then in the filter tree, of course, we haven't filtered yet on the 3 hours. So again, I make a new sub-rule. You're seeing a pattern here, probably. I make a filter. I say that it needs to have a fire rating of 3 hours. So the string is literally equal to, that's the operation that you see here, the string is literally equal to 3 hours. So my property is really 3 hours. And then we have almost our filter tree, except the entity customization of 3 hours I selected now. Let's look what this looks like in our 2D drawing. So I will switch to my 2D drawing, and I will select my viewport. As you know, there is a custom property of my viewport which allows me to pick a new strategy. So I will search for the fire strategy which we were creating just now. And I update my section. And then you will see we're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. So you would see that the outer walls are green as we wished. The 2 hour, so these are the 3 hour walls. The 2 hour walls, they have the diamond line. And here they are. The 1 hour walls, they just have a red color for everything. Okay. So whenever we have this, there are some other changes which I want to do to my model still. And that's, for example, I want to change how this door looks like. I want to have a circle in the middle saying which fire rating my door has. So actually the 2 hour fire rated doors, I want to filter them out as well and want to give them a symbol customization. So that's the third category inside my entity customizations, would be the symbol customization. So I make a new new entity customization, which is called fire door to hours, for example. And again, we see it's not used in the rules yet, and it's an empty customization. So this time I want a symbol customization for this one. I can select a symbol file. We already created a symbol file for this one. And then if I go into my symbols, you will see that here we have a certain symbol, which is a circle, as you can see in this preview. So I open it, and that's the circle that I want to customize. You can replace your door. So normally we used to have the BRX layers, which contained symbol customizations for BricsCAD specific components, where you already set this customization properly. But now we have also a customization which allows you to change whatever geometry you have in your 3D model, to change it up with a circle, for example, in this case, or to change it up with a triangle if you would wish so. And how do we do this? We actually create an external DWG file. If I press edit, you would see what this looks like. So you have a box, which is representing your your future furnishing element, for example, that you need to change, your future entity you need to change. And whenever you have this this box, it would allow you to, it will map itself onto the new destination location. So that means that my symbol will be mapped. My symbol is located, if you look back to my screen, my symbol is located in the middle of my entity. Let's say my imaginary entity, which is represented by this box. And a door, a circle will be customized there. And now I can still customize the symbol layers, actually. So what does it mean? Here, this symbol is placed on a special layer, which is called the BIM 2D layers. You have the BIM 2D back, which is representing the background, just like you had the background lines before. And you have the BIM 2D sect, which is the section lines you have represented before. So if I just hide and show you only the symbol, you would see that my background is actually the circle, is actually the fill, and the sect is the circle. So in this case, I want to show only the sect geometry. So what I do is I change back to my customization, and then yeah, here in the fire strategy, we're not finished with these yet. So in the symbol customization, I'm entering the symbol customization again. You can add a name. So for example, you could make your own standards. For example, you want to show only the legs of a chair, for example. Then you could say legs of the chair, and you could say in your symbol layer name contains, you can say, okay, it needs to contain the word legs. And then I want to customize it as such. So here we just want to show the BIM 2D sect. So I say okay, and I want to customize it being red again. And then I go back into my layers, and I copy the name of this layer here, the back, which is the fill in this case. Then if I go into my symbol customizations, I can now say that this layer name needs to be invisible. That means that the hatch pattern will not show up in my entire result if I replace my door with this symbol, which is a circle. Okay, so now we've finished with creating the symbolic representation of our doors, and we need to still add it into our rules tree. So here I want to add a new, entirely new section of my rules, which is the doors. So I will say doors. Again, we add a filter. Instead of wall, we now say door. Then I add a sub-rule, in this case 2 hour. So my door will be fire rated with 2 hours. And I can give in a filter now. And again, instead of the wall common, we now need the door common. And then the fire rating here will show up again. So I choose the fire rating for the door common. Needs to be 2 hours now. Okay, so then you see fire rating equals 2 hours. That's the filter we want. And now the last thing to do is add the entity customization, the symbolic representation, to add this customization to your filter tree. And now we can look back to our plan, and we can see that the doors here, in this case, they don't have a symbolic representation yet. But if I update, the new filter tree should be in action, and it should filter down on the type of fire rating that the door has. So in this case, it indeed changed to a circle representation. You would see that these doors are also 2 hour fire rated. So that's how you can add your fire rated doors. And we now covered, if I go back to my entity customizations, we now covered the section result, center customization, and symbol customization, but we haven't covered the ply customizations yet. I will show that on another example, since I will filter out the insulation layers of my section. So I will also have an insulation strategy. So I want to switch between my fire strategy and my insulation strategy. It would be very easy. You again select your viewport and you change your strategy to insulation, for example. And whenever I did that, I can update my viewport. And then as BricsCAD is really processing this geometry, it takes a little bit of time, but then you would see that everything is grayed out except my insulation layer. So here you see my insulation layer being represented. I can easily check whether all insulation nicely fits next to each other. And that's how you can use ply customizations to filter out a certain ply. And how it looks like, I will show you by going inside the insulation strategy example. So here you will see that I have an insulation ply customization. And there you would see that in my ply customization, I have filtered on insulation. And how can I see that? Well, if I open this one up, you would see here ply filters. And then we are filtering on the function being insulation. So you could filter on any property of a ply. You could filter on the quantities of a ply again. But here we chose to filter on the function of the ply itself. And the function is defined in your composition. And in this case, we are filtering out really the insulation layer to only show the insulation in color. So I can show you that in the filter tree. You will see that here you have a insulated wall. And then whenever the category is a wall, you would see that the insulation ply customization is applied. And if I return back to the insulation ply customization, you would see that, yeah, the ply customization sets the intersection fill on red and all the rest on default. So that's why you get the intersection fill red in this case. And whenever you go to the section customization, you would see that all the rest of the plies are grayed out. So actually what it means is normally the section result will be customized in a gray tint, but this gray will be overruled whenever you have your ply customization active. So whenever you have your ply customization active, the section result will get overruled even if it inherits 4 plies. So normally all my plies would be gray. If I add a ply customization, this overrules my section result, and that's how you can see this in color and the rest not. So that's an example of an installation strategy. But we've been doing everything on a floor plan right now. But of course, you can also do these things on a section plane. So again, here you have the default generated section. And whenever I select my viewport and I select the customization installation, I can now update this viewport again, and you would see whether we have a warm roof, a cold roof. You would easily see it based on highlighting only your installation layers and not all the rest of the layers. So you could also see that maybe here there is a problem because the installation layer doesn't continue. You might need an installation block there. So that's really, besides customizing your final drawings according to your architecture office or your construction office standards, it would also allow you to visually check your result drawings to really transfer another message to your clients, because they can really see, your clients or the ones who need to build the building after all, you can really see that they need to pay attention to this installation, for example. They need to pay attention that the installation continues. Well, then you can transfer this with drawing customization. You can really transfer all of this. And remember that all of these drawings are DWG based. So that means that you can directly share them with your clients. You can also see them vectorized, so you can zoom in as much as you want and you would always see a clear line. So you don't have to stand on a rasterized image. It's really a vectorized image that is as clear as your model is. So we're almost finishing with this demo, and to end strongly, I want to show you all the possibilities, or not all of them, but at least a handful of them, to show you what capabilities our drawing customization really has. So I have prepared some extra customizations. For example, if I now give in the area type strategy, it will actually filter my model based on served or surface areas. So all the served areas will come in green, all the surface areas will come in red, and you can also see that reflected. In this case, we put it into the description of the name. You would see that it says service in this space, and that's how it can filter down to service versus served spaces. Then another one would be to filter, for example, on the size of your area. So you would want to filter on, whenever it's smaller than 10 square meters, you filter on one type of element. Whenever it's bigger than 100 square meters, you filter on another. So if I just show you how this filter tree looks like, you can see the area size strategy. You will see that here the area sizes are the first, the second thing actually, which is filtered. So the first thing is, first we're going to select the spaces out of our model. Then we're going to select whatever is smaller than 10 square meters. It will have the smaller than 10 square meters entity customization. And if I just can show you what is really special about this, is that we have an appearance override of our hatch. In this case, whatever is smaller than 10 square meters, here the appearance override will say that it's a cross hatch. So that means that here you will see that this is the section pattern for areas smaller than 10 square meters. Whenever we check the larger than 100 square meters customization, you would see that here it's an appearance override which is called special. And this is the tri-hex pattern that you see appearing on your plan. So that's the appearance override without having to really set your material on a different, or to really set your hatch on a different material. You can just override the appearance of this hatch, in this case, to show easily what is large rooms and what is a small room. You could also do this for tiling patterns, whatever comes to your mind. And then we will end with the office rent strategy, which is an interesting one because it works on a custom property. So it filters based on a custom property. And you would see here that in my main model, whenever I select a certain element, we have here the phasing custom property, which has a state existing, or which has a state new. So if we look into our model, it's represented by the new chairs being in purple and the existing ones being in orange, so that you easily see which chairs you have to buy new. And again, I can quickly show you the filter tree, which will allow you more insight in how it's filtered. So you would see the furnishing elements being filtered out separately. And then you would see the state being existing or new. And then you will have, accordingly, you will have a customization, orange or purple. Same for the walls, whether they are category A or category B in our case, they will get a different customization. This concludes this demo about drawing customization. I hope I could show you how you can really leverage the power of customizing real DWG entities straight upon generation of your model. And you can see that whenever you have a project in mind, whenever you have custom properties, you can filter it out, you can customize it, and you can make it the office standard. Thanks for your attention.